Hello everyone, I'm Jesus and welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School NTG. In this video, I have a new format to show you, a casual format, the Micr-OS 40 card singleton old school format. So this format is so new that we are first of all still debating the name, and we are still debating the rules. Right, so this is strictly casual for fun. But we liked it so much that we ended up recording it, or I ended up recording some of the matches that I play with an opponent here. So first, I want to refer to the official Micr-OS website, which I'll link in the description. So over here, the new Micr-OS 1994 game operating system with 40-card deck and singleton anti-friendly rule set. So this is since Magic was developed in the early 90s, the time of Microsoft as well. That's where the Micr-OS name comes from. So some other players are thinking maybe we could call it Micr-OS, as in old school, to also coincide with operating system, right? Because usually that's what, in terms of Microsoft, that's what OS stood for. So we're, like I said, we're still debating even the name. But let's read the rules as stated on the official website. So Micr-OS, or Micr-Old School, there it is. It's a 40-card format with all cards restricted to one copy each. So singleton, 40-card deck, except for basic lands and plague rats are an unlimited amount. There is no sideboard, but you may have a fake 5-card anti-board. There are no draws. If a draw occurs, there's to be an orb flip-off to decide the winner. So always has to be a winner. So it is the usual Atlantic card pool with a regular reprint policy, right? So collector's edition, things like that, any original art, original frame, reprints are allowed, at least in this initial rules. All right, so the rules here. So first of all, the anti-board. Actually, maybe I should skip around here. Okay, actually, where are the specific rules? Okay, actually, it's not really. Okay, I think we need additional rules here. Okay, so basically this format is a way for players to play for Ante. And like I said, it's anti-friendly, so it is optional. And the 5-card anti-board that they were mentioning, so normally we have a 15-card sideboard, right? But in this case, it is not a sideboard, it is 5 cards that you can swap, up to 5 cards you can swap from your 40-card deck for those 5 cards. Basically, if you choose to play for Ante, you can swap out up to 5 of your most expensive cards if you don't want to risk losing them in the Ante game, right? So that's what that Ante board is. It's just 5 cards that you can swap for 5 other cards from your deck if you decide to play for Ante, right? Like I said, it is optional. And then, so there's no, you can't take back Antes, right? So, that's the only thing you can do is, that 5-card Ante board, you got to do it beforehand, right? But once the game starts and Ante cards are picked, that's it. It's set. So these are the official rules. But on the video, you'll notice additional self-imposed rules, right? So we're thinking that these new rules can be applied as well. So first of all, we are only playing unsleeved 40-card deck, right? So, keeping it super 93, 94 before card sleeves were even invented, right? So 40-card deck must be unsleeved. Remember, these rules are self-imposed. Number 2, you always play for Ante. So then your 5-card Ante board, then, that's still in the gray zone. And in this game, actually, I did not have a 5-card Ante board, so I just ended up, I think I just had some random cards but it wasn't needed anyway, which you'll see in the video, right? But in the future, the way we envision the 5-card ante board is not that you swap out the 5 cards, because you always play for ante anyway. So I guess you could still swap if you wanted. But at least for me, I would pick 5 cards that are outside the 40-card deck. So that way it doesn't matter what I got picked for ante, and if I lose, I just swap one of those 5 cards back, right? Because your deck has to be 40-card compliant whenever you play the next game, right? And if you're losing, that means you don't have a 40-card deck anymore, right? So that's how we envision the 5-card ante board to be more to be used more of for these new self-imposed rules. 3, okay, so we went unsleeved, must play for ante. Okay, there were a couple more self-imposed rules. It's not popping up. Maybe as the video plays, it might come to mind. But okay, let's see. 40 cards, self-imposed rules. Okay, so first of all, normally for ante games, first of all, ante is rare, right? It's not played in traditional old school Magic nowadays. The where you see it is mostly in Swedish, right? They really do very very traditional, and some have the guts to play for ante, right? Normally ante, at least how the rules are stated, after the decks are cut, the top card from each deck gets placed face up so that it gets revealed, and then that way both players know what they're playing for. So for the first, we played 3 games, me and my opponent here in this video. The first 2 we did with that rule, but then it got a little stale. So the third one we did upside down. And nowadays, like I said, for the Swedish format, when they do play for ante, that's usually how it is nowadays. The top card is placed face down from each player, and then once the game is over, then they get revealed just for added excitement and drama. Okay, so no sleeves, you must play for ante. The 5-card ante board is still in the gray zone, right? We still undecided, at least firmed up what it is that we're going to do with that, right? But I gave some ideas. And then the ante rules, right? So just we're keeping them face down and then revealing face up at the end of the game. So that happened on the 3rd game. Okay, so I do want to highlight one card though. Contract from Below. So most of the ante cards are horrible. So I don't envision them being used much anyway, even though this format is strictly for ante. But Contract from Below is an anomaly. 1 black for a sorcery. Discard your current hand and draw 8 new cards, adding the first drawn to your ante. Remove this card from your deck before playing if you are not playing for ante. So basically, you play this for 1 black. You take the top card of your deck and set it to the side for an additional ante, but then you draw 7 cards. So everyone says, or a lot of people say, that Ancestral Recall is the most powerful card in the game, which in the standard game it is. But cost to benefit, or cost to effect, this is the most powerful card in the game, hands down. Contract from Below. So I personally did not have a Contract from Below because I'm playing mono black in this deck, and I envision a lot of players will either play mono black or half black, so they can take advantage of Contract from Below for this Micr-OS format. And then I just didn't have him because I don't have ante cards, because I don't play ante, right? But now I do, so I will be getting these. And for a reprinted version, like I think like 4th or 5th edition or something, they tend to be like $1 and change, so they are pretty cheap. But what you get out of it is nuts. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out to give a little context to what you're going to see here. But let us start with game 1. So I'll try to keep track of life. So we have a life counter on the phone, but then it was out of frame, unfortunately. All right, so we're cutting here. So I wanted to show a bit of the shuffling and the ante card being taken out, right? So there. So my opponent already took mines, and then it took his. We both revealed swamps. So it was a little anticlimactic. And then he has, I believe, an unlimited rule book over there. That's just for fun, right? It's not being anteed or anything. All right, so good. So from this angle, this is actually, I got a new stand. So now it's for more directly overhead. All right, so I'm on mono black. I swamp, mountain, swamp. I him second turn. Ooh, I got a swamp and a Singer. All right, no, sleeveless. So mountain might go. So I see a strip mine, I see a Tetravus, I see a frozen shade. So I want to keep him off. Since I already had another play, Black Knight, I wanted to keep him off from scaling up his mana base. All right, so I attack for 2. He's at 18, and then I play another swamp, frozen shade. 3 lands, earthquakes for 2. So both my creatures died. So I'm at 18, but he takes 2, so he's at 16. My turn, I play another swamp. So I see a drain life, a Tetravus, and something else in my hand. So let's see. Okay, he plays a maze, and then a ivory gargoyle, I think it's called. So it's a 2/2, and it can beef up the toughness. So here, before he can beef up, I drain life for 2. So I go back to 20, I believe. My opponent's still at 16, but he has a maze of it. So I gotta bring out 2 creatures now if I want to do any damage. So City of Brass took a damage, so he's at 15, I believe. Earth Raiders. For 3 mana for me. Basalt Monolith. So I want to bring that up because I want to cast the Tetravus. So here I see a Evil Presence, which turns any land into a basic swamp. So I'm thinking about, yep. So I put it on the maze. But he was using his City of Brass for black anyway, right? So I'm kind of, helping him out a bit anyway, right? So it's not a total waste what I did. So he attacks for 2. No blocks. I take 2. I'm at 18. Opponent's at 15, I believe. So 3. Okay, there it comes. Play a land. 6 mana. Trike. So ideally, I want him to attack because the Earth Raiders have to attack, or else I believe my opponent takes damage. Or they gotta pay colors mana or something. Earth Raiders don't get used much. All right, so hitting for 4, Fireball, and then I choose to ping the Earth Raiders with all 3 tokens because Earth Raiders are 2/3 creature. All right, so I pay 2 for Cyclopean Mummy. It's a 2/1 creature. If it dies, it gets removed from the graveyard instead. Opponent plays a strip mine. So attack for 2. He's at 13. I play a bug imp, so 1/1 flyer. He plays a Sedge Troll, and it's a 33 because he has swamps. Ooh, I terror it. So it's buried, so it cannot be regenerated. So I do that end of turn so I can attack again. 13, 12, 11, 10. So I believe he should be around 10. That was a really nice terror or else that Sedge Troll is going to be trouble. Ooh, that's trouble as well. Royal Assassin for my opponent. He's at 10, so I think my mentality is to attack. Yep, so he takes 3, he's a 7, so I know I'm gonna lose the mummy. Alright, 3 mana. 2 Falling Angel. Opponent goes. Ooh. The rack, I believe, or Black Vice, I forget which one. But that one is under 3, I believe. Okay, so my opponent killed the mummy. I forgot to remove it from my graveyard. Then he disintegrates for 5, so even if I sacrifice a creature, it's dead anyway. So that one I do remove from the game because disintegrate removes from game. Alright, so I'm debating if I attack just to hit 1, just to get my opponent down a little bit more. Ooh, nice. So, okay, that's nice. So, animate that. The trike hit a token for the Royal Assassin and attack for 1. So my opponent's at 6, I believe. He just played a land. Okay, so I'm taking damage during my upkeep because of the thing, right? But I'm not sure how much cards I have. But I remember, yeah. Okay, I see 2 cards in hand, so I must have taken 2 before and took 1 this one, so I'm around like 15 or something. Okay, so that's it. So that's game 1. So here, I wanted to do a little bit extra where you're going to be seeing the an additional thing that we thought about. So the loser does a little signature on the card they lost. So I set that card to the side, right? Because my deck has to be 40 cards, even though it doesn't say like if it's supposed to be only 40 cards or if it's 40 minimum. But right now we're keeping it at you have to have exactly 40 cards. Okay, so that is the first one. Let me find the second one. And game 2. So since each game has its own ante, basically each game we are seeing who goes first, right? Since I won the first one, traditionally then my opponent would choose, right? But no, every game is totally independent. So what happened is for the antes, I got another swamp, but my opponent got I believe an unlimited sedge throw, or either revised or unlimited, but he got a sedge throw. Remember, we have to. This one we're still playing also revealing the cards face up, so he knows he's about to lose the sedge throw if he loses. Well, for me, I just lose a swamp if I lose. All right, so we're drawing here. All right, so my opponent drew a black heavy hand, but he also has swamps in hand. So me, swamp, bog rats, opponent, land, the rack, or whatever it is, the one that does. But right now it's not hitting me, I believe. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't think it is. Mummy, attack for 1, bog rats, 19. Then my opponent, swamp, casts a Earth Raiders. So it's a 2-3, so I cannot attack with any of my guys, or else they're gonna die.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, he actually has a contract from Below deck.
That means nothing to me.
It says Ante additional 1 and draw 7 cards
Oh, nice.
for a single black.
Right, so not much action happening at the moment. Right, so the camera is still shaking a bit, but it's better than before, definitely.
I don't really play Magic. I don't really know. I know the rules.
And this stand is very sturdy, so it's actually not so much that the stand is wobbling, it's actually the table itself is being shook around, right? So because this is I have a much better stand now. All right, so I play a Vampire Bats, which is good. It's a flyer. It can get around the Raiders. Ooh, my opponent gets Royal Assassin again. Attacks for 2. So if I block, I have to 2-for-1 it because he has 3 toughness. So just take the damage. It should be at 18 or something. Play a swamp. Ooh, I'm going for everything. So he played this a Royal Assassin last turn, right? So he cannot use it right during my attack. He can use it during his turn after I attacked. But at least I got a hit in. So potentially hitting for 5 here. I believe the Vampire Badge you can pump twice max. Okay, so I don't do anything else, I guess. So I guess, yeah, I did pump twice. And my opponent took 2 before, so maybe he's at 13 around that ballpark. Alright, so he's going to use Assassin, kills the Vampire Bats because those are flyers. Ooh, and then he does a 1 each fireball. So he wiped all 3 of my creatures. So my turn, cast a Monolith. I got 3 cards in hand, so I'm trying to play into the rack or Black Vice, whatever it is. So that way I don't get hit for damage because my deck is very aggressive and it's basically a black Winnie deck. For the most part, right? Of course, I got a Tetravos, other things, Falling Angel. But its main way of winning is Winnies. Okay, so my opponent had Send Your Vampire, and then I now, using the Monolith, I cast a Trike. But I'm still in trouble because since Send Your Vampire is a flyer, I cannot block. Ooh, he plays it, Disrupting Scepter. And that card I was considering as well for my own deck. So a lot of deliberating here. Yeah, might as well attack with the flyer. So I can't do anything, so I take 4. I don't know if this is the first 4 I took or if I took before, but whatever. Opponent played a Black Knight. Something else, I'm not sure what. Or if maybe it was the Scepter from the same turn. So me, I play a Bug Imp, but then with the Royal Assassin, it's kind of tricky to attack.
For 1 and a green, he can get first strike instead. But I don't have 1 and a green. It's a 2/4.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, in this format, that's actually almost.
Alright, so for me, that's all I do. Just a Bug Imp. Opponent untaps. Let's see what he does. 4 mana. Twist for 3. So I discard all my cards. 3 swamps. So now I'm going to die to that artifact. Basically, I'm getting lightning bolted for free. And the only way I can counteract it is by not playing cards, right? So either way, my opponent wins. Okay, so he went in for attack with everybody. I blocked the Urg Raiders. I think he just wanted to kill the Urg Raiders also. And okay, so here I lost. So I must have just taken enough damage to lose. And yep, so that's the card I actually lost, which I initialed. So now but basically we went back to our starting deck sizes because first game he lost a swamp, and now in this one I lost it, so he got the one back that I took from him initially. So it's not much, it's parity right now.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. We gotta watch out for that.
But we are going to start into the next one soon. Game 3 here.
It wouldn't be available for enough time.
So now we got smart,
Did he give you yours back?
and we decided to
Signed it?
put our anti-card face down to the side.
Like kills a tap creature.
But funnily enough, you're going to see what happens. All right, so my opponent's cutting my deck, putting the tap card to the side, face down. So we are not seeing them this time. So same thing, I take that card. That's his anti-card, but look what happens. Oop. He messes he was just moving it to the side, and then he just slipped off, and then it reveals a Maze of F, which is pretty expensive card. When you consider this particular format, right? That's like a $20, $20-something card. So my opponent knows he's probably has one of, if not the most expensive card in his deck, as the ante. And me, we don't know what I have for this third game. So I won the first one, he won the second one. Now the third one. Remember, each game was totally independent though. So if we wanted to do best of 3, we had to ante 3 cards each, one at a time. All right. The opponent plays a black knight. My go. So I definitely have a lot of creatures. I saw my hand. Okay, so we trade. So I attack, and then I offer that because of based off what I have. There's a lot of creatures low to the ground, and I rather the black knight not be there anymore. Okay, my opponent stripped mine, so he's noticing that I'm not dropping the lands. Right, but I dropped the land there. I don't know if I had it already or if I drew it. Okay, my opponent had a Kumba Witches from before, which is going to hurt me, right? Because I got a lot. This deck is a Winnie deck, so a lot of creatures with 1 toughness only. My opponent, wow, he got Royal Assassin third game as well. So all 3 games he has that Royal Assassin, but he's more likely to get it anyway because it's a 40 card format. So there he's attacking for 2, because unless I have 3 red for a ball lightning, that there's not much creatures with haste, if anything else. In old school, at least. 3 mana, so I can drain life for 1. The Royal Assassin. So I believe, yeah, this deck currently doesn't have a Royal Assassin, but only because I have him, and then I have him in my deck folder, just in case to be used. All right, so here fire hippie, but then opponent lightning bolts it. So attack for 2. So now he has a hippie of his own, and then I'm losing a card every turn. So I am ideally looking for, since the hippie is black, there's also a few other things that are not able to be done. So I don't have a mace in this deck because I just didn't put it in yet, or I was still debating it. I think I already played a Drain Life, right? So not many ways that hippie's gonna die. I have to cast another creature that can stay alive long enough. Hippie attacks, another 2. So I don't even know what life I'm at. What I care is there. I lost that Falling Angel because I didn't have enough mana. Because I need to cast a flyer. And this deck does not have Will o' the Wisp. But it is on one of my consideration cards. In the previous turn, I must have cast the Urg Raiders. And I attacked, he didn't block, so then I play a Frozen Shade, knowing I have 1 mana open, so that my opponent has to use the Kumba Witches twice. Which is then 2 damage to him. So that's 2 damage right there.
I got a like Annie and
Yep.
card
No,
from him.
I got it.
Oh, but you draw.
That's the
But he's clearing
Four.
clearing the area for
And in the first card, you want to pay
all-out attack.
No, I needed that.
So, ooh, I had a Sorcerer's Queen, which makes any creature an 0/2 creature until end of turn. But I cast the previous card. I forgot what it was. Instead of that, but then now I lost it because of the hippie. But I must have known it was going to be lost, right? Unless I got like a paralyze or something, which I do have. But I didn't draw them in any game so far. All right, so attacks for 1. He's keeping the other guys. Oh no, he's deciding. Okay, all right. So yeah, it makes sense. Might as well be a Garth. So yeah, I got the Earth Graders, but he's doing 2, 4, 5 damage a turn where I do 2. So he's going to get me way sooner before I get him at this rate. So I'm not surprised that my opponent is being aggressive here. Ooh, I get him by the rest of my cards in my hand. So no cards in hand. Plus I'm taking 5 a turn. Oh, there we go. So I lost the game. So I anteed another swamp, which I'm gonna assign because I lost it. And then, yep, my opponent had that maze being up for consideration for the Ante game. But all right, so yeah, definitely pretty fun format. And also, we really like that it's sleeveless, so that it's even more traditional because that's how we really played. And also for Ante, I never ever play for Ante unless it was like more recent. But I definitely knew about it, and I knew people do. So it's a cool way to play for those nostalgia reasons of playing a sleeveless deck, playing Ante cards, which both are basically no-nos in today's old school Magic because everybody plays with sleeves, and then Ante cards are not legal anyway. All right, so other than that, this is a pretty fun game, pretty fun format, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you for watching.